I'm Commissioner Christy McCormick with the U.S. Election Assistance Commission. September 15th to October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month, and as part of the EAC's recognition of this month, I have the pleasure of speaking with Miami-Dade County Supervisor of Elections, Christina White. Ms. White is a career public servant with over 15 years of employment with Miami-Dade County, 13 of which are with the Elections Department in several leadership capacities. In 2015, the mayor of Miami-Dade County appointed Ms. White as Supervisor of Elections, where she oversees the largest elections operation in the state of Florida and the 7th largest in the nation. Thank you for speaking with me today, Ms. White.
My pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Good to see you again. So let me just jump right into the questions. Can you tell me a little bit about your background and how you got started in elections?
Sure. So I am pretty much for my entire life resident of the state of Florida, proud alumni of Florida International University, and really have spent the entirety of my adult career in Miami-Dade County government. And so that's approaching around 19 years now. I worked in a couple other departments, the environmental agency, communications, and also some hurricane relief. Back in 2006, I was recruited by the then Supervisor of Elections to come work for the department. And when I came, I was very intrigued, very moved by the work that was being done here at Elections. And so I took that position. As you had stated, several leadership positions later, in 2015, I was appointed the supervisor, the only appointed supervisor in the state of Florida. And here I am 6 years later, serving in a capacity that I'm very proud of and very passionate about. So it is my pleasure and my honor to be supervisor of the largest county in the state of Florida.
And through 2 crazy presidential election cycles, too.
Yes.
Baptism by fire.
Yes. They seem to be getting a little bit bigger and a little bit more complex with every election cycle, that's for sure.
It's so true. So you have a large Hispanic population in Miami-Dade County, and how do you ensure that Hispanic communities and all communities are able to participate in the voting process?
Yeah, so we do. So we have about 66% of our electorate that has identified with a Hispanic background. And, the philosophy is pretty simple. It's whatever we do in English, we replicate not only in Spanish, but also in Creole, because we do have a large Haitian Creole population here as well. And so that's everything from the actual ballot itself is in the 3 languages. Our sample ballot, everything, our website, all of our printed official election materials are in the 3 languages. And then we also make sure that the workforce, whether it be my permanent workforce, our temporary workers that we hire, and also our poll workers who are out in the field, also are able to speak Spanish and Creole so that they can answer any questions that a voter may have, walk them through the process so that they really feel like they're getting the information and the education that they need. And most recently in 2020, we even added the 2 additional languages into all of our social media posts and all of our radio advertisements and, print advertisements. So we just make sure that, again, anything that we do in English, we do in the other languages so that it's very robust and that our voters have access to all the same information as in English.
So you mentioned bilingual poll workers or bilingual assistants. How have you made changes in how you recruit poll workers to get the Hispanic community involved in the process?
So from that perspective, I do feel fortunate that it's not necessarily a big struggle here to find poll workers who do speak Spanish because we have so many. Our poll workers are very representative of our electorate. And so any way that we do our poll worker recruitment, whether it be specific outreach events where we're trying to get people to sign up, or we have a very robust media campaign. We're also doing it in the Spanish and the Creole markets, all of our print advertising and radio advertising. And then we also we've started recently a big program with the Miami-Dade County School Board to try to get those teenagers who are newly registered voters who may need some community service hours to also come on board and assist us.
And have you had some feedback from the Hispanic community on their involvement in what you're doing?
Yeah, thankfully we have a very good relationship also with many of our organizations too that work with us and are, sort of partners and third parties that are out in the field. And we have gotten nothing but positive feedback that we do truly encompass and embody the what the community looks like in our polling places. So I think for that we do a pretty good job. I'm proud of my staff for that.
Yeah, I know sometimes there are some challenges in Hispanic communities on the dialect of Spanish. I know that in some places it's more Central American, in some places it's more Caribbean. Have you faced that at all in Miami-Dade? Do you have a specific group of Hispanic, community? Are they more Central American, more Caribbean? I think you have a large Cuban population.
Right. So certainly, yes, I would say majority Cuban population. Thankfully, we have not had any negative feedback in terms of dialect or translations or the way that we frame anything. We do use federally certified translators for everything that we do, whether it be the actual ballot language, to our sample ballot, even to our, our basic informational flyers. So I do know that they use the traditional Spanish from Spain dialect when they translate things. Okay. And also, when we're doing radio advertisements and stuff like that too. And so that's been our protocol for many years. And I think that's been received very well by the community at large.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I know that other communities have had some issues with that. So, it's good. Sounds like you guys have it under control there. So that's good. What are some of the common challenges you have faced as an election official, and how have you overcome those?
Oh, wow. So that's changed, I think, over the years, right? First, I would say just the volume that we deal with here in Miami-Dade, coupled with the time in which we are given by the election laws is always a struggle, right? So, we have 1.6 million registered voters, very often a multi-page ballot, not just because of the language, but also because of the various entities that are placing questions on the ballot. 6,000 poll workers, 33 early voting sites, 875 precincts. I mean, the statistics go on, but the timelines that are set out in Florida election law are very, very tight. So our turnaround times to do everything, getting vote by mail ballots out into the mail, setting up our precincts, conducting recounts. We have a very short time frame, from what I understand, the shortest in the nation, to conduct and complete our recounts. And so that is always a struggle. And I guess my shortest answer on how I deal with that is we do what we have to do. And if that means working around the clock, or hiring additional employees, purchasing new and upgraded voting equipment, all the above, right, to make sure that we are abiding by our statutory deadlines. And, I think also our workforce, especially in the last year, trying to run 3 statewide elections. In Florida, we have the presidential preference primary, then the primary election, and then the general in a year of COVID, where people were hesitant about coming out and working side by side, was certainly a challenge. Convincing our poll workers who are working for next to nothing and are elderly a lot of times to come out and serve in those elections was difficult. And so how we dealt with that was I gave them a pay increase. I think that went a very long way. I had the support of Miami-Dade County government. They provided me with employees that work in various departments, and just made sure that, we had all of the PPE and the social distancing and, all those really important recommendations from the CDC in place to make not just the poll workers, but also our voters feel safe and, wanting to come out and vote in that election.
Right. That was one of the most challenging elections I can ever remember. So, and you all did a great job with a huge turnout too.
Yes, we had a historic turnout. Very many people voted by mail, understandably, but also came in person too. We had over 500,000 people vote during early voting.
Wow.
For the presidential election, which was a record number. And, it was as close to perfect as you can get. So we're proud.
Yeah, you all did a great job. Congratulations on getting through that. So let me ask you this one final. what does Hispanic Heritage Month mean to you?
I guess on that, I would say that it really provides the opportunity to learn about and appreciate what the Hispanic culture, the impact that the Hispanic culture has had on the American culture, especially here in Miami-Dade. There have been so
Yeah.
many influential Hispanic leaders that, from the time that the county was created, both in government and in private sector, and really to stop, even if it's just for a moment, to reflect on their contribution and their commitment to this community, to this day.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us today. Just a short and sweet interview about what y'all are doing in Miami-Dade. And I want to say thank you to Ms. Christina White for joining us for Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.